When I first met Alina, I didn't think she'd change my life. She was just another name on the university roommate list, a stranger I'd share an apartment with for a year. She arrived on a rainy afternoon, suitcase in hand, her dark hair clinging to her cheeks. "You must be Zara," she'd said, her voice low but warm. I remember thinking she looked like a storm, quiet on the outside but full of something powerful underneath. We were opposites. I was organized, quiet, a little guarded. Alina was spontaneous, messy, and loud in the best way. She played music at odd hours, left half-finished mugs of coffee on the table, and laughed like she had sunlight inside her. Our friendship grew in fragments, shared midnight snacks, late-night confessions, and movie marathons that turned into long talks about everything, from broken hearts to wild dreams. One night, as we lay side by side watching the ceiling glow with city lights, she said, "You ever feel like you're waiting for something that hasn't even begun yet?" I turned to her, our faces close. "Yeah," I whispered. "All the time." We didn't look away for a moment too long, and something inside me shifted. But I brushed it off. She was my roommate, my best friend, the girl who'd made this dull apartment feel like home. Whatever that flicker was, it couldn't mean more than that, could it? By winter, our rhythms had synchronized, coffee brewing together, studying together, falling asleep to the same playlist. Yet, beneath that comfort, there was tension neither of us dared name. She'd lean over me to grab something, her perfume lingering. Sometimes her laughter made my chest tighten, like I was holding my breath too long. One evening, while decorating our small Christmas tree, Alina asked softly, "Do you ever wonder what it'd be like, if things were different?" I froze. Different how? She looked down at the fairy lights twisting between her fingers. If we didn't have to pretend we didn't feel things. My heart stumbled. "What things?" I asked, almost afraid to hear the answer. Her eyes flickered toward me, then away. "Never mind," she murmured, forcing a smile. "Forget it." But I couldn't. That night, I lay awake, her words echoing in my mind. Maybe I'd been pretending too, pretending that her touch didn't linger on my skin longer than it should, pretending I didn't memorize the way she looked when she was lost in thought. We were both caught in a strange dance, circling around something we didn't understand yet. And then, the day that changed everything arrived, unexpected, ordinary, and unforgettable. It was a Saturday morning. The power had gone out, and our old water heater was acting up again. I'd just finished my shower when I heard her voice through the door. "Zara. The water's gone cold again, can you check the switch?" I stepped out, wrapped in a towel, water dripping from my hair. "It's probably the fuse," I called back. Before I could warn her, she opened the bathroom door, startled to find me standing there, half steamed, half drenched. Her eyes widened, then softened. "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were still," she stopped mid-sentence, her gaze catching mine. The air thickened between us, warm and electric. I laughed nervously. "It's fine. Just, give me a sec too." But she didn't move. "You have shampoo in your hair," she said quietly, reaching up as if to brush it away. Her fingers hovered near my temple, close enough that I could feel the warmth of her hand. Time froze. Something unspoken cracked open. She blinked, stepping back quickly. "I should go," she whispered, retreating, but her voice trembled. The door closed, and I was left standing there, my heartbeat echoing like thunder. Later that day, we avoided each other, both pretending nothing had happened. But every glance felt heavier, every silence louder. That one moment had changed everything, and neither of us could unfeel it. The days after the shower incident were strange. Alina became quieter, almost shy, the opposite of her usual self. She started leaving earlier for class, eating meals alone, always finding excuses not to be around. I told myself it was fine. Maybe it was my imagination. But at night, when I heard her moving around her room, I felt an ache I couldn't explain. Finally, I knocked on her door. She looked up from her laptop, startled. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey," I echoed. "We need to talk." Her expression tensed. "About the bathroom thing?" "About us," I said. She looked away, biting her lip. "There is no us, Zara. You're just my friend." "Then why does it hurt so much when you say that?" The words hung between us, trembling. Alina's eyes filled with something raw, fear, maybe. "Because if I admit what I feel, I'll ruin everything. You're the safest thing I've ever had." Tears burned behind my eyes. "Maybe safety isn't what we need," I whispered. "Maybe it's honesty." For a moment, she just stared at me. Then she reached out, her fingers brushing mine. "You scare me, Zara," she said. "Because you make me want things I've never let myself want." We didn't kiss. We didn't speak again that night. But something had shifted. This time, neither of us tried to pretend. Spring came with quiet warmth, and so did change. We started spending time together again, cooking dinner, watching old movies, walking to campus at sunset. It felt like falling back into an old rhythm, but gentler, softer, and more aware. One evening, sitting on the balcony, she said, "Do you ever think the universe keeps throwing people at us to see if we're brave enough to love them?" I smiled. "And if we're not? Then maybe we get another chance, until we are." She turned toward me, and this time I didn't look away. I reached for her hand, small, warm, trembling. "It's okay to be scared," I said. "I am too." Her eyes shimmered under the fading light. "Then let's be scared together." It wasn't a confession, it was a promise. That night, as rain whispered against the windows, we fell asleep side by side, fingers intertwined, a quiet surrender after months of confusion. We hadn't kissed yet, but in that closeness, we didn't need to. It was love, unspoken but undeniable. For the first time, I wasn't waiting anymore. I was exactly where I was meant to be. It happened a week later. Another rainy morning. I was making coffee when Alina came up behind me, her voice a whisper. "Do you still think about that day?" I froze. "Every day," I admitted. She smiled sadly. "Me too." She stepped closer, so close I could feel her breath on my neck. "Zara, I don't want to be afraid anymore." I turned around slowly, meeting her eyes. And then, without words, she kissed me, soft at first, hesitant, then certain. It felt like exhaling after holding my breath for months. The world outside disappeared, the rain, the noise, the ache. All that existed was her. When we finally pulled apart, she rested her forehead against mine. "So, what happens now?" she asked, voice trembling with a smile. "Now?" I whispered. "Now we stop pretending." We both laughed, nervous, relieved, in love. From that day on, everything was different. We were still roommates, still best friends, but also something deeper. Something real. Every time I looked at her, I remembered that moment, the shower, the silence, the fear, and how it led us here. She wasn't just my roommate anymore. She was the story I never saw coming, and the one I never wanted to end.